Okay, picture this. You've got a highly respected headmaster standing in an absolute torrential downpour. I mean, he's completely soaked to the bone. Someone runs up and offers him a raincoat. He says no. Then he's offered an umbrella. And again, he flat out refuses. Why? Well, keep that image right there in your head, because the reason why creates a mystery that we're going to solve by the end of this explainer. And trust me, the answer is absolutely fascinating.
I mean, seriously, why would anyone actually do that? Think about it. We live in a world where if it starts sprinkling, your modern executive expects the umbrella first and probably a hot latte to go with it, right? That's just kind of how things work today. But our source material gives us this stark, almost unbelievable contrast. To really get to the bottom of this mystery, we have to travel back in time and completely reset our expectations of what leadership actually looks like.
Section 1. A Royal Summons, 1970s Ceylon.
So, we're rewinding the clock a bit here, more than 5 decades back to 1970 Ceylon. This is an era way before the instant gratification of WhatsApp or email. Back then, communication had real gravity. Getting a formal handwritten envelope delivered during a long school vacation, that wasn't just a casual text from a boss. That was a rare, serious summons from Principal H. Seal da Silva himself. A group of schoolboys actually received this exact letter, calling them to welcome the visiting Indian Prime Minister, Mrs. Indira Gandhi. And when a letter like that showed up, you didn't ask questions. You put on your crisp uniform and you answered the call, driven by this deep, unspoken respect that formed the absolute backbone of these institutions. Okay, so the boys arrive at the college and they're greeted with this genuine warmth from Mr. da Silva. And then the adventure really kicks off. They all get bundled into a classic Route 102 double-decker bus. Picture this massive crimson giant just navigating the bustling streets, heading all the way out to the airport. The boys are lined up along the leading road, gripping these small flags, just waiting for the VVIP flight to land. You know, for a group of schoolboys in the 1970s, waiting around wasn't an annoyance. It felt like this grand, epic adventure.
Section 2. The Ratmalana Storm. Now here's where things get wild. It starts off as this brilliantly sunny morning, right? The boys are lined up on the open road. Absolutely zero shelter. Then, without any warning, the heavens just open up. We're talking a torrential downpour that soaked everyone to the bone in a matter of minutes. A student from a sister college spots the principal getting absolutely drenched and offers Mr. da Silva an umbrella. He refuses. Then a policeman on duty steps forward, offering his official raincoat. And again, the principal politely but very curtly declines. He just stands there in the lashing rain, completely unflinching.
Watching this astonishing display of stoicism, a nearby policeman actually mutters a profound phrase in Sinhala, "Mi inne niyama mahatmayek," which means, "This is what you call a true gentleman." Wow, it's such a powerful statement. And hey, if you're hooked by this, make sure you stick with us until the very end of this explainer, because we're going to unpack exactly why this single, quiet moment reveals such a massive contrast with modern leadership. You really won't want to miss the conclusion.
Well, eventually, the whole ordeal in the storm comes to an end. The rain stops, a Russian-built Tupolev Tu-14 breaks through the clouds, its landing lights piercing the mist. Prime Minister Gandhi is whisked away in this sleek motorcade of tinted glass cars, and the boys wave their flags with total pride. The crazy part? Decades later, the memory of that fancy aircraft and the motorcade completely faded for the author. But the image of Principal da Silva standing unflinchingly in the pouring rain, that was permanently etched into his mind forever.
Section 3. Nostalgia or Lost Values. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. I can practically hear the Doubting Thomas viewers out there saying, come on, this is just an older generation romanticizing a bygone era. But I really want you to chew on this for a second. Are we actually just looking at the past through rose-colored glasses, or did the fundamental trajectory of leadership genuinely change over the last 50 years? Let's take an objective look at what the source text actually tells us. So the sources highlight a really distinct shift here. On one side, we have this old-school generation of educators. These were leaders defined by ironclad integrity, where stepping up was seen as a heavy burden of responsibility. Now, contrast that with today's modern position holders. Often, Leadership today is viewed as just a collection of privileges, right? It's a fundamental shift from earning respect through shared hardship to simply demanding compliance because of your job title.
And if we look impartially at the history, analysts point to specific policy shifts that really kick-started this change. Sources argue that the 1956 Sinhala-only policy in Ceylon had these profound ripple effects. The argument here is that this policy narrowed the global outlook, disconnected the educational system from that broader gentleman's code, and sparked a major transition away from a pure meritocracy toward more politically aligned appointments. According to the text, this was the pivotal moment where the erosion of leading by example really began.
Section 4. The True Gentleman's Code. All right, let's bring it all back and close that loop from the very beginning. Why on earth did Mr. De Silva refuse the umbrella and the raincoat? Because a true general never accepts comforts denied to his troops. He refused shelter because his students, the boys standing out on that open road, had absolutely no shelter. He didn't look at himself as some VIP who deserved to stay dry. He saw himself as a leader whose job was to share their exact burden. You see that old school spirit? It wasn't about the academic curriculum. It was about this stoic, unwavering commitment to the people placed under your care. He didn't need to pull out a megaphone and give some grand, sweeping speech about integrity or leadership that day. His actions spoke way louder than words ever could. He simply stood in the rain.
And honestly, it leaves all of us with a truly powerful standard to measure ourselves against today. Whether you're leading a massive company, a classroom, your family, or just your local community, the big question remains. When the storm hits, and trust me, it always does, how will you stand in the rain for the people you lead? Will you grab the first umbrella you see, or will you share the burden? That is something for all of us to seriously reflect on.
Thank you all so much for your time today, and a huge thank you for revisiting King's Academy for more knowledge. We really hope this explainer gave you a fresh perspective on what true leadership by example actually looks like. Please let us know your opinion in the comments section below. Do you think this kind of raw leadership still exists today? As always, we read all posted comments and reply to them as soon as possible. Stay curious, and we will see you in the next explainer.